Hello, my friend, and welcome to the 406th episode of the Sales Podcast. I'm Wes Schaefer, the Sales Whisperer, your host. If you missed 405, go check out Matthew Woodward from the UK, although he's in Costa Rica now. But, still the same. He's got the accent. We got into SEO and what hasn't changed and how human nature hasn't changed. And when you understand that, you'll get your SEO right. And I relayed how that tied right into Harry Mazur's episode right before that. A seasoned entrepreneur and salesperson, author, and we got into how human nature hasn't changed. People have always asked me, do I have a niche? I'm like, yeah, my niche is helping humans sell to humans because it really is universal. Once you understand what makes people tick, you can apply it in your copywriting, in your speeches, in your face-to-face selling and your prospecting, just across the board. The medium is not the message. And yeah, of course it can be argued. Sometimes it is. But look, at the end of the day, just like now, social media has changed and people talk about social media marketing. The reality is you got to pay to play. And so social media is not necessarily the medium anymore because you got to have good content, but then you have to pay to get exposure on it. So how good is your messaging there, right? Do you understand what's going on in the mind of your prospect so you can enter that conversation and stand out in a noisy world? That's why we've got Jeff on today. Jeff is a return guest. I've known him for many years. Great guy, and his focus is on Pinterest. He's called like the manliest man on Pinterest, and for good reason. It's an underutilized platform by many. I underutilize it, and we got into that. He gave me some things I can be doing better on it. That's the great thing about doing this podcast is I get to pick people's brains and then go test things myself. But you've got to understand where your prospects are hanging out and go there and then give them something that they want. Okay? But the risk is always, when you build things on these platforms, the risk is you don't own it. You see people all the time getting kicked off of Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and whatever. So at the end of the day, your website needs to be the hub. So everything you do, you can drive them back there. You can pixel them. And even that's changing. I'm going to have Justin Brook on as a return guest, but we're going to get into that in his ad skills group. They're talking about very recently how everything is changing in that space. But at least you own your website. You can control how you build a list. You can control how you stay in touch with your visitors. All right. But when those visitors come to your website, how do you turn them from window shoppers into identifiable human beings with whom you can stay in touch? That's where Intercom comes in. What does insight-driven messaging look like for sales? Like a whole lot more deals, fast. Jump on high-intent leads in the moment with Intercom, the business messenger that extends the reach of your team 24/7. Intercom creates more opportunities for you by booking meetings and collecting data from leads automatically. Take Intercom user Elegant Themes. They now convert 25% of leads through Intercom's messenger. Deals don't wait. Get them with Intercom. Go to intercom.com/deals. That's intercom.com/deals. Speaking of deals, I've got a deal for you when you join 30-Day Sales Growth in October. The first 3 of you that join 30daysalesgrowth.com in October and mention that you heard this on Jeff's interview, I will give the first 3 of you a free 30-minute private consultation. I don't ever do this. There is a little upsell that I offer for a 20-minute call, but you can skip that if you're one of the first 3. So you got to join in October 2019, and then you've got to mention it to me. All right. So once you join our Facebook group, you'll get an email from me and how to log in, how to get all the content, and you can call me, you can message me there on Facebook group, whatever, and let me know that you heard this offer on this episode. And I'll send you my calendar for 30 minutes. All right. That is worth hundreds of dollars. Really, I don't even sell a 30-minute consultation. So I could say it's priceless, but the reality is I do charge hundreds of dollars per hour. for private consultations. So let me know if you want to partake in that. We got to take action fast. 30daysalesgrowth.com. Go there now and enroll. It's a month-to-month agreement. I send you a nice little welcome package. You get immediate access to all the content. You get access to the live weekly calls Thursday at 10 a.m. Pacific. So come join us, all right? 30daysalesgrowth.com. Now let's bring on Jeff. The manliest man on Pinterest. Jeff, welcome back to the Sales Podcast, man. How the heck are you?
Doing good, Wes. Thanks for having me on again. It's always nice when you get asked back. Hopefully, either you ran out of guests or I did an okay job the first time.
Man, honestly, I lost a bet. I thought like within a week of doing this episode, the first one, that like Pinterest would go away. But like here we are 3 years later. It's still around. What the heck is going on?
It still is. They went public, and they're, depending on what day you look at them, they're doing all right. So, so it's still around. I'm still doing my Pinterest thing, and it's still working.
Still got the mustache, but you're a little bit skinnier. So congratulations on that.
Thank you.
It's good to see less of you.
Yeah, that's always good. Yeah,
in that regard.
Yeah, appreciate it.
I've been doing some of the same. So down about 20 pounds. So very nice, man. You got it.
Yeah.
Like they say. If I'd known I was going to live this long, I'd have taken better care of myself. So,
That's exactly right.
It's time, man. It's time we do things right.
That's right.
So how do we market ourselves correctly on Pinterest? Like what? It's so funny. I messaged you, a month or so ago. I was taking back my account from my daughter that I let use my Pinterest.
Right.
I just wasn't using it. And I log in and like I'm presented with all these things on braiding hair and whatever. And I told my daughter, I'm like, I'm deleting all of your boards.
Right.
I got to take this back, honey. Sorry. It's like, I'll let you create your own.
Right.
And it's a cool platform. It's, I don't know. It's kind of like LinkedIn or kind of like Twitter meets Instagram, sort of, kind of. But I don't know. Enlighten us, man.
Yeah. So it's grown since we last talked. Now there's like 300 million people who use Pinterest every month. So it's not like the behemoth that Facebook is, but it's still, especially for me, it's worth doing. It is kind of a mix of that, but the founders of Pinterest have gone really out of their way, and they'll say this every time you see them talk public about it. They say, we are not a social media platform. They want to be like, they call it a visual discovery engine. And it really is more of a search engine like Google more than it is like Facebook. And if you're totally unfamiliar about Pinterest, what it is, it's like a digital pin board. So you'll see something, an image you like, and you pin it to one of your boards. So, for example, I have one on, I have like a bunch of woodworking boards. So I have wood carving stuff. So I'll pin a thing that a DIY, how to do, wood carving for like carve a pipe or something like that. I'll pin that to a board, and that links back to the site. And that's the key for like business and sales, is every one of those pins, especially when you're putting those out there, is a link back to your content. So for a lot of the people that I know, Pinterest is their number one driver of traffic. In fact, when I was running Pinterest for Social Media Examiner, their number one social platform for driving traffic was Pinterest. That beat out Facebook, it beat out Twitter, LinkedIn, all those. Pinterest was their number one driver of traffic. So it can it's a great driver of long-term traffic. Twitter and Facebook, that stuff has a half-life of 20, 30 minutes. On Pinterest, it can be 3 months. So it really, for like if you're selling a product or a service, it can really drive some significant traffic to you.
So explain that. We're talking about half-lives. Because, Twitter, good grief, that stream seems to go, it's like before you hit enter, it's like it's already aged. Mm-hmm. And it's just the nature of the beast, I guess, huh?
Yeah. Well, and Pinterest is, what people do is they'll pin it to a board, and they go there to discover stuff. They don't really, they'll click on it and go there, but a lot of times they'll be like planning for, like you mentioned, a hair braid. They may be planning for a wedding, or they may be having a new kid coming along, and they start pinning stuff for the room. So a lot of times they'll pin it to a board, and then they'll go back and click on that link later. The cool thing about Pinterest, especially for sales or for businesses, is that people like to see content from brands on Pinterest. they enjoy seeing that. They'll pin it. That's the other thing about Pinterest. There's no fake news. There's no, you don't see stuff from your niece that you really don't really care about in a recital and all that kind of. You see stuff that you want. It's all about you, which of course is what everybody's about in this world anyway. They all want it to be about themselves, and so it's all about content that they want to curate for themselves. So it's a great way to get your content there. They save it, and then they'll either click on it right then, or they'll go and click on it later when they're ready to buy.
Mm-hmm. So all right, so I just logged in again. I haven't logged in weeks.
Mm-hmm.
I'm seeing my home page. Is it the home page? What is it?
Yeah, that's your home feed, as they call it.
So it's still like dominated by women's clothing. Do I just need to like view other things, and the algorithm will just?
That's what's happened. Is the Pinterest algorithm, since your daughter was pinning a bunch of stuff,
right.
That's going to says, oh, he likes hair braids, so we're going to serve him up some more. So you can kind of train it the way you want. So mine is a lot of woodworking. There's a lot of social media stuff. There's I do a lot of man cave stuff that I like to, and there's a lot of, how to have your own home bar, brewing stuff. I mean, all that stuff is really, really there. Like food and drink and technology are the most popular categories for men. And, looking at your feed right now, you're like, is this really for men? But there are a lot of women on there, but men, the new signups make up over their 50% is coming in for like 2018. I think 50% of all the new signups for men. So it's a growing platform. So don't be discouraged if you're seeing a lot of hair braid tutorials.
So, I'm B2B, right? I'm doing sales training. I'm doing business podcasting. I'm doing CRM sales. I've been active on social media very early on.
Mm-hmm.
And I've never gone to Pinterest to look up business coaching or podcasting. So is that slowly changing?
I think it's slowly changing. Now, I got in trouble one time because somebody said, well, give me something that wouldn't work on Pinterest. And I said, well, maybe an undertaker. I don't see many of those. And I got all these people writing in going, no, you could use it for like grief counseling. And so you've got to be thinking about your audience there and what people are looking for. There's a really big market for like people teaching on how to, save for college and financial planners. There's a lot of them on there. How to, do a budget, which you've got to think, okay, how do you get those people from Pinterest who are searching for something like, how do I save for college? And over to an article on your website that helps them with that, but also will upsell your content. So you don't really usually go for the real hard sale on Pinterest. It's more of like, hey, here's some great content. You get them to your site. You either get them on your email list or something like that, and then you sell them that way. So like for you, for example, trying to do, like direct selling straight there probably wouldn't work very well. But some of your podcast clips, for example, you may have seen those audiograms where they have a clip of your podcast playing and then like a visual of like the graph movement or something like that. Pinterest now has what's called video pins, which really stand out in the feed. They're really new. They really make people stop the scroll. But for a podcast, that's what I would think about using is chopping up some clips. And if you're doing video like we're doing here, maybe getting a good question and answer, chopping that up, putting that to Pinterest to link back to your site. I think that would probably do well for you.
Yeah. All right. Very cool. I see some secret boards. I guess I still need to go delete those from my daughter. That's probably why I'm still seeing henna, nails.
Well, the thing about secret boards, I tell a lot of people when they start cleaning up their account for Pinterest, it's great to have secret boards. So a lot of clients are like, oh, I've been pinning all these flower things and I want it to be more business stuff. Well, don't delete your boards because somebody may be following you for some reason. If you just delete a board, you may delete followers because people can follow your entire account or just certain boards. So either archive those boards or make them secret, which means you won't lose those followers. You can still pin content to them, but you won't lose anything if you just like delete it. I always say not to delete your boards.
Yeah, but I don't want to see hair braids, so I'm
so you probably ought to get rid of those. Yeah.
I'm deleting those.
Get rid of those. Maybe there's a secret. It's okay. If you like hair braids, it's fine. There's no judgment.
It's fine. I just don't want to. Oh, outfits. Okay.
Yeah.
So how does a business know when to dip their toe in that water, right? Because like if a business client came to me and said like, where should we be active? You know, and they're B2B.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm going to be telling them, I think email still works.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to say maybe podcast, get your LinkedIn squared away, maybe Twitter. I mean, how would I know when to tell somebody, hey, get your Pinterest game on?
So you mentioned email lists. And one of the best things to do on Pinterest is create a freebie and add it to Pinterest with a good, call to action. Get them there. Get them to your site.
Freebie. Create what, like a free giveaway, or
yeah, like for me, this for example for me, since I do Pinterest marketing, I would put something like the how to create a video pin on Pinterest. And that's a freebie. They would go, there'd be a nice little image. They'd click on that. It would go download. They would be added to my email list to get that free download. Right. Example for podcasts, Amy Porterfield, who's an incredible podcaster and great sales person. She also, pretty much for all her podcasts, she has some sort of freebie. She could add all those freebies to Pinterest, and that's just another link back to those. And they're, like I said, they last for such a long time. I think most of the time people get hung up, and why they don't use Pinterest is because they don't understand what kind of image to create. So it's those tall images. It's almost like story size images, and that's what you want to create. And so if you could just add that into your work, kind of your workflow, like, okay, I'm making an image for LinkedIn, I'm making an image for Facebook, I'm just going to do one more step and make an image for Pinterest. I think it would really serve that person well, because why not put it somewhere where it will really last a long time?
Right. But I see tools. So like HubSpot, for instance, I can share a post within the blogging engine, the tool, right, straight to Facebook, straight to LinkedIn, Twitter, and Instagram. Mm-hmm. When is Pinterest going to be? It seems like it's not quite mainstream yet, even though there's 300 million users.
Yeah, there's like Buffer allows you to do it, and all this. So if there's different tools that will. I use Tailwind because it has great. It ties into Instagram and also Pinterest, and so I use that to schedule. So one of the things, no matter how much you like a platform, you can't stay on it 24 hours a day. And just like you mentioned, like Hootsuite, you can kind of batch your pins and spread those out over time. And so I use a scheduler and I use Tailwind. But you're right. There's a lot of third-party apps that still can't figure it out. I think it's mainly because the image size. Now, you can use square images on Pinterest. Like if you're creating them for Instagram, I would go ahead and try those to Pinterest. If you just really can't make a taller, story size image, I'd go ahead and use a square image because they still perform not as well, but you can use those on Pinterest. And I've seen a lot of video pins do that as a square kind of aspect ratio.
Yeah, I mean, there's tool like I use Canva. I mean, you can make any size image you want on Canva, and
they have tons
free or low. I mean, very low. It's not so that shouldn't be the reason.
Right. Yeah. I think it's just one more step, and people forget about it. But that's kind of the secret sauce, is being able to do that for every piece of content, and it really starts to snowball. Especially once it's been on the platform a while. I'm still getting traffic from pins. When I first started on Pinterest, I still get traffic because it comes up seasonally. Like there's certain seasons that it will just come up. Like for some reason, it just seems to always surface like at certain times a year, and I get traffic from it.
Yes, I'm checking out Tailwind. So I like that smart loop feature. Is that where it's basically once you go through your posts, like if you're quiet for a while, it'll just cycle them back.
Yeah. And so the cool thing about Smart Loop too is, so a lot of my content, so I have like a social media marketing board, I have a Facebook board, I have a Pinterest board. And so if I have an article that I have like on how to do something specific to social media, I don't just pin it to my social media board. I pin it to all of those. And I use Smart Loop to cycle through those boards. So I don't dump them all at once to all those boards. I'll like, okay, on Monday, I'm going to pin that social media post to my Facebook post, and then I'll do one to my social media board, and then I'll one to visual marketing or whatever. And it kind of cycles through those boards, and you just you squeeze all the juice out of the content you can.
Yeah. Very cool. Because that's one thing it's frustrating with Like with HubSpot, I've got to manually schedule everything. And then, okay, if I forget or whatever, then nothing goes out.
Right.
Or I've got to well, let me think through. I got 100 posts. When did I do that last time? Like, oh, good grief.
Yeah, you can set up rules. So how many times you want it to repeat, or how many, and what boards you want it to go to. So it's really robust. I mean, to me, Pinterest is one of the easiest networks and gives me the biggest ROI on the time I spend on it.
Right.
Because sometimes I feel like I do something great and do it on Facebook and it's just gone. Nobody cares. Yeah. But Pinterest, it seems, once I start doing that, get it set up in the smart loop and some of the other stuff. And Tailwind also tells me what's performing. So I can look at the stats and go, oh, for some reason, people are really hitting my visual marketing board this month. I might want to come up with some more content, and I'll do that. And the other thing is there's nothing that says you can't have multiple pins for the same piece of content. So I'm running, Kim Garst and I have partnered together to offer Pinterest services and Instagram stuff. But for every one of her blog posts, we create 5 different Pinterest graphics and then spread them out with things. So it's like a spider web of content. Pinterest doesn't care that it goes back to the same thing. And some image may resonate with people more than another one. And so the more you have out there, the more traffic you get back to your site.
Very cool. And this Tailwind, so that's just Pinterest and Instagram, huh?
Right. That is correct.
Okay. Cool. So, how would someone get started? Should they use...
Well, you mentioned Canva before. So, if they're making their graphics in Canva, just do that. I think it's called the Magic Resize, and make a Pinterest. And they have tons of Pinterest graphics. Another great resource is Easel, and that's EASIL. It's like Canva, but I think they have a lot better templates right now because Canva just gets hit hard by everybody. And so I would look at creating those and just start building them when you're making your graphics. One of the things is you want to make really clear text overlays. Some reason on Pinterest and Instagram, there's a lot of people that use those scripty fonts, and those are just hard to read. And the cool thing now is Pinterest the algorithm actually can read your text.
Oh,
the clearer your text is, that's just another signal that they have to surface it into their smart loop and in their algorithm.
All right, so I got that link, EASIL.
That's correct. Yeah.
I've not even heard of them, and I've used Canva for a long time.
Yeah, and I love Canva. It's a great tool. Easel is similar, but they just have so many great templates. And a lot of time on Pinterest, I can go and I can be scrolling and I go, oh, there's a Canva pin. Oh, there's another Canva pin. And so they just get hit really hard. And so when I find new resources, I kind of try to use them. So my stuff stands out.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, because I'm looking through here. It's I got a good start, and then I just kind of...
Yeah, it's okay.
So crazy. Well, I wonder how much of this was my daughter. There's 2,200 monthly viewers.
See, that's a great start. I mean, yes, it's kind of cool for social proof, but it really doesn't matter in the end. It's traffic back. So if you have 600 people and you're getting 1,000 people to hit your website because they like your pins, that's what you're looking for. Right. I mean, I love that I have depending on some months, I'll have 1 million monthly viewers, but it doesn't really matter if they're not visiting my site.
Right. Yep. All right, man. So what do you do? Are you a Pinterest consultant? Are you broader in your marketing? Do you focus just on that?
I call myself a visual marketer. So Pinterest and Instagram and video, I do a lot of that. But Pinterest is kind of what I cut my teeth on. One, because nobody was doing it, and everyone's like, "Oh, it's for the ladies," but it's really not. The cool thing about I talked about how most people on Pinterest think brands content is useful, which is totally opposite of Facebook. People like to see on Pinterest stuff from brands. They also they're saying that it drives 4 times greater sales than average digital campaign on other platforms. So when I see stuff like that, I'm like, okay, why and how can I use that? I want to be where, social is great. And I use all the different social platforms and I've helped clients with all those different things. But I like to go where I get the most bang for my buck. So yes, I still use Facebook ads, and I think that's a great way to get eyeballs and stuff. But driving traffic with Pinterest, I can't find anything that does it as well as Pinterest does.
All right. I got to check that out. So I'm looking at my crazy board here. Mm-hmm. Is it crazy to have a crazy board? Is it good to be broad and show like all these different things, whiskey drinking, guns, and sales training? Or should I narrow it to be more business?
There's nothing wrong. I would turn like your whiskey and guns one to probably a secret board, and you can still pin to it. It's no big deal. But for people who come to visit you, you probably want to have more sales type of training. And one of the things that, like when people first get going on Pinterest, they're like, oh, what content do I do? You don't only write one blog post, a week. And I need to pin more stuff because Pinterest likes an active account. It's kind of Twitter-ish in that way. So I use what I call third party content. So people like I pin stuff from Peg Fitzpatrick and Rebecca Radice and people who I know write great content, and it serves my audience well, and I can fill kind of my queue in Pinterest. And the cool thing about Tailwind, they have a new thing called Tailwind Tribes, which is kind of like a group board, but kind of on steroid. It's their own thing. And so I get in these tribes that are like, just digital photography or just, social media or just Instagram. And I trust all those people. I pin their stuff. They see that I'm pinning their stuff, so they pin mine. It's kind of this, I scratch my back, you scratch, that kind of thing.
Right.
And we share each other's content. And that's a great way for new users to start. And it's called Tailwind Tribes. It's built into Tailwind. So for you, I'd get on some really like direct marketing. And I know there are some out there, tribes that have the same kind of content I want to, and post some of my content there, and then post some of their content. And then it kind of starts snowballing from there. And it's a great way to get your account active and people pinning your stuff and getting more visibility quickly.
Right. So when I look at my profile, it says Business Hub.
Yeah, it's a new thing that they have.
Okay.
I don't use it that much. Mostly Pinterest is, ever since they've gone public, they've been trying some new things and they're testing a lot of stuff. And so once in a while things can get a little wonky, but they have messages. I really don't, most of the messages that come through Pinterest to me are spammy. I usually do any of my communication with people who have questions like in tribes or something like that. But that's a great point though. You do want a business account. If you're doing any sort of business on Pinterest, you need to switch over to a business account. I was really nervous because I was doing Pinterest for a while on a personal, and I had quite a few followers, and I was really nervous to switch it over. There's nothing, they flip a switch and that's it. Nothing happens. There's nothing to be messed up. So if you're not doing that and you want to be kind of, because you don't get stats and stuff like that when you are on a personal account. You don't get any stats from Pinterest. You're not able to use their promoted pins, which is kind of like their, like boosted post on Facebook kind of thing, which can be a great play if you're trying to drive traffic quickly. Is using some promoted pins is also a whole nother subject, but it can be really effective as well.
Mm-hmm. All right. So that just, okay. I thought my account, well, maybe I created a business because I can click on my face and it takes me to my boards.
Yeah.
And so then as I see this, looks like, I guess, the different things that I've,
so what's your account? I'll do a little audit right here and now.
It's Sales Whisperer, or I can share my screen, maybe, or you want to share your screen?
Oh, I see right there. So this is good because this matches your normal thing. One of the things that I would do first of all is on your desktop, there's a thing called Featured, and it's really blank. It's just got the 5 pins of the Diary of the Wimpy Salesman. Right. You can go up there and actually change that to be like just your content. Like it would be like all your
where
articles.
Do I do that? Under Profile?
That would be, under Profile. And there should be a thing called Featured. Let me see. I'll have to go log into mine.
Activity, Community, Latest, Boards and Pins.
So let me go to mine real quick. I'll tell you where it's at. So go to Profile, and then where did they move it to?
Analytics, ads, all kind of stuff, man.
Yeah. Oh, I think it might be under edit info. Let's see here. One of the things you want to make sure that you do underneath your profile is that you claim your account, like your website and Instagram and YouTube and all those things, so they can tie it in together. That way, it kind of protects you when you start doing what are called rich pins. You'll add a piece of code to your website when it actually gives you it links your account. So when people go there, they can't like hijack your pin or something like that. So it's something that I always tell clients to do, is to claim their website so they have all that stuff set up. Where is that? I'm trying to find out where the...
And is that just easy to find?
Yeah, that's under edit your profile. There's you would scroll down to account settings, and then underneath that would be claim. There's a thing that says claim. That's where you would claim your website and also your Instagram. If you have an Etsy account, you'd claim it there as well, and as well as your YouTube.
Look at that. I have claimed my account. Man,
See, you are on top of it.
Man, I'm so much better than you said I was. See, man?
Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, the Business Hub is pretty much where you would go and see kind of an overview of your account, and also if you're running any ads. So it's kind of just like a place where you're kind of just generally looking and stuff. So to change your featured board, you would go to your profile page, and then you should see your featured thing up there, and there's a little pencil button. When you hover over that, whenever you see that pencil button on Pinterest, that's where you can go and edit stuff. So you could go in there and edit your featured boards to rotate between like your content or another board. So it's pretty simple to do that inside of profile.
All right. So what does it mean here? I pulled up one of my boards. Now I lost it. But it looked like I'd invited two guys to be collaborators.
So those were group boards. And a lot of people still do group boards. But, of course, us grubby marketers ruin everything. And so people really started to gamify group boards. And so Pinterest has recently said that they're not going to show group board content in the smart feed, which is their main feed. So to me, that makes group boards kind of worthless unless I'm collaborating like with a photographer or something like that. So that's why I really push Tailwind Tribes, because it's the same thing as group boards, but you're pinning content that will actually make a difference and will show up in your feed, and people will see that. So that's why you'll see those. So you can invite people to contribute to that board. But now, because they've made these new changes, I just really don't. That was a great thing when they first had it, but we've ruined it, and now we have to do something different.
Marketers do ruin everything, huh?
Yeah.
Crazy. Well, man, what should I have asked that I have not asked? Because I don't know enough to ask enough.
Yeah. So the first thing is, create an image. Just if you're just wanting to get started and kind of want to get some traffic going, every time you create a image for your social, or you're doing a blog and you're doing one for Facebook, Instagram, whatever, just do one for Pinterest. Do it in Canva or Easel, and then make sure you have a clear text overlay. So like if it's a blog post, like for mine would be like how to create Pinterest video pins. That would be very clear on top of a good image, and pin it. But when you upload it to Pinterest, make sure you add your URL, because a lot of people I see, first of all, they'll add an image and like, we're not getting any traffic. They forgot to add an URL to that. So when people click on it, they do go back to the correct content. And that's one of the things. You can use up to 3 hashtags. And so I always use like my branded hashtag, which is hashtag mainly Pinterest tips. And then like if it was that Pinterest example I gave, I would do hashtag Pinterest, hashtag social media. And that's pretty much it. Mm-hmm. And I would use a good description. And you want to use a keyword rich description, but you don't want to keyword stuff. So you want to make it clear in natural language, but tell them what the pin is going to be about. And that's pretty much it. And you upload it. And then when you have time, make some more pins and point it back to that same content. And after a while, you'll start seeing some traffic to it.
As a parent, the cool thing that seems to be is I have stumbled upon things I was not even close to looking for on Twitter.
Yeah.
Now, my daughters are looking at clothing. I see very beautiful women, but at least they have clothes on.
Right.
Is Pinterest like much cleaner in that regard?
Yeah, there are some people, and they usually get. I had one guy. He was pinning risque. Well, we should say content. And he's like, "Why does this keep getting taken down?" I'm like, one, it's a platform of women. They don't like this stuff. They're reporting you. And two, it's just not. It wasn't good. So yeah, it's a lot cleaner. And like I said, there's not fake news. Now you can run into some stuff every once in a while. I mean, if you look for it on any platform, you can find it. But it's not in your face like some of the other platforms are.
Yeah. So that's a good thing in and of itself.
Yeah, it is.
All right. So features, rich pins, claim your site, 3 hashtags, tribes, third-party content, run some ads, reading your text. And I guess all the search engines are doing that now. Huh?
Yeah, and
being able to read.
And Pinterest has one of the best kind of visual search engines there are. So like you can they have a thing on their mobile app called their lens. Like if you see somebody's, if I was hanging out with you and I saw, oh, that's a really cool wristwatch, I could take a picture of that inside of Pinterest and it would serve all those pins up that have that same sort of wristwatch on it. And then also you can, then I could buy them straight from Pinterest, which is another cool feature is
buy what straight from, you can. Yeah. Oh, they have like a marketplace.
Yes. And so that's why I always talk to people is like, if you have a product, you need to be on Pinterest because like I have a Shopify store where I sell t-shirts and I mainly put it together so I could test this stuff on Pinterest for clients. And it's just so stinking seamless that you could just, if your prices change, it automatically changes on Pinterest and they can order straight off of Pinterest and it goes right to your checkout on your site. So there's a lot of cool stuff for product-based things. That's why Etsy a lot of them use Pinterest to sell stuff. But yeah, it's very powerful, especially around like Black Friday, and there's all sorts of stuff you can do for sales, direct sales like that on Pinterest.
So do you need a Shopify or something like that, or can you just sell right there?
You need to have some sort of back end because what it does is Pinterest goes straight to your checkout page and you check out from your own site. So I think Shopify, BigCommerce, and there's some other ones that Pinterest supports. But that's what's really cool is like if I have a sale, it automatically reflects on my pins. I don't have to worry about these pins out there that are, different prices. It's tied into that actual sales, cart, and everything's taken care of.
Nice. All right. I guess I got to dig in.
You got to, man. You got to do it.
You're supposed to make my life easier, man. Are you making my life harder? Then it's going to get easier?
Well, it should get easier. The more sales you make, I mean, you're the sales whisperer. So, I mean, all you need to do is whisper a little bit at Pinterest and it should just happen.
Man, I think I might yell at it a little bit before I whisper at it. But yeah, it is. All right. It's cool.
Yeah.
I see the potential, man.
I would start with you. Like, you have a great piece of content or a great giveaway. I would throw some money behind it a little bit. You don't have to spend a ton. But then compare that to what your traffic you're getting from that and maybe doing the same thing on a Facebook ad and see which one. The other thing is you're paying one time for Pinterest. So like if you do a promoted pin with your stuff and I say, oh, that's great. Wes is finally doing Pinterest. I want to save it to my board. And I save it there. You don't pay for anybody else who clicks on that. You only pay for that first click. And so
what?
Yeah. So if I move it, if I do like, okay, if you are doing, you pin it, you pay for that pin. So you pay to get it in my feed. Once I save that to my board and somebody else clicks on it or 50,000 people click on it, you're not charged for it because the campaign is over. It only counts for that one repin.
Really?
Yeah.
How do they price that?
There's different types of things. So there's like one that I never use is that you pay per like close up, which means somebody clicks on it, looks at it. That's not really worth it to me. I'm wanting traffic. So I'm paying for I usually do the the traffic campaigns where it's per click and it's only the first click, not the ones after.
Now, you mean just for that one person, I don't pay every time you click on it. But if 100 people save it, I pay for 100.
No, you pay for the first. So if you paid to get it to my feed, I repinned it to my board.
Right.
And everybody came to my board and repinned it. You would not be charged for that. It's only for the first one. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And because the thing is campaigns end and those pins last forever. Those pins don't go away after the campaign is over. They're still on the boards.
Well, that's a lot different than the other tools, huh?
That's why Macy's, Home Depot, Lowe's, all those people, they've kind of allocated a lot of their what used to be Facebook money to some of these other platforms like Pinterest.
So let me see if I understand this right. So would it be like, I guess on Instagram, though, you're paying, it's a sponsored post.
Right.
But I guess if you turn that off, it goes away, right? Or does it stay in your feed? On your own wall?
Yeah, I think it still stays in your feed. I'm pretty sure. I'm not sure. Yeah, I think it does.
Yeah, but heck, that's worth looking at.
Yeah, I mean, so you always have to split test stuff because sometimes things if you're wanting to get a lot of eyeballs, Facebook, and to be honest, Facebook has a lot better way to drill down to specific audiences. Pinterest is getting there, and they keep refining how granular you can get on your audiences that you're trying to use a promote a pin to. But Facebook still has every other platform beat just because they have so much data,
right? Good
or bad, but that's just the way it is.
Right. All right. Very cool. So you mentioned you've got a free report. Where should we send folks? Because you were on episode 138. We're still linking to you there. Jeff Sieh's Manly Pinterest Tips.
Yep.
Same site?
Yep, same site. And if you're, need help, just give me a shout out. I do have a free resource on my site. I'm going to get ready to add some more this week, but I have an updated Manly Pinterest Tips tackle box that I have on there and some other stuff. So,
yeah, I see that, man. You got some wire snips there. You got
all sorts of cool stuff.
Various screwdrivers.
Mm-hmm.
What is that? An old hint? I don't even know. It's very manly, though. They should check it out. ManlyPinterestTips.com. Now, does Pinterest think you're like you're cheating on them because you got a Twitter account?
I haven't heard from. They haven't said anything negative toward that, but I do tweet a lot of Instagram stuff, and I'm also I'll say this too. I'm also weekly doing Tailwinds live show. So if you want some advice on Pinterest or Instagram, we have some great guests that you should check out over there on their Facebook page as well.
And where is that? It's on the Tailwind page?
Tailwind page, but also their Tailwind's Facebook page. Like we're doing a show tomorrow on Instagram, and then on Thursday we're doing another one on Pinterest. We usually alternate weeks, but this week we had to smash them together because some people have gone. But yeah, so Rebecca Radice is usually helping me host the Instagram one, and then Elisa Meredith is helping on the Pinterest side, and we get some great guests, and we nerd out about all visual marketing stuff. So it's pretty cool.
Very nice. You're like a guru at Tailwind, huh? You're like somebody.
Well, I'm something maybe I don't know somebody or not, but
Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. What?
Yeah, that's what they also have offices in New York, which is crazy.
There's only two things that come out of Oklahoma, son. That's steers and queers. Can I say that? I don't know. I'm giving a try. It's my own damn show, so I can say that.
You say whatever you want.
It's from an officer and a gentleman. So anybody going to complain, just save your breath. All right. I'm going to be following. I've had Rebecca on. I got to catch up with her. It's been a little while.
Mm-hmm. She's super smart. Everybody, I don't know why they let me on, but I get to be on with some super smart people.
Hey, stay on. You're like, you got to hold on now. Like, oh, you can't kick me out because I'm already here.
Yeah.
Very cool. All right, Jeff. Manly. Make sure I got that right. ManlyPinterestTips.com, right?
Yep, that's it.
All right, man. Well, thanks for coming back on the show.
Thanks for having me.
Report back to you. I'll let you know what's up.
All right. Sounds good, man.
Thank you, sir. Should you be on Pinterest? Maybe, maybe not. Should you ignore it? Absolutely not. Should you test it? You absolutely should. You never know until you try it, okay? But if you have been avoiding it, I recommend you take a peek at it. Maybe hire Jeff. Maybe go through some of the courses he has. But definitely spend a little bit of time analyzing it. Look at your prospects. Look at your customers. Maybe run a survey. Send an email out to your list and say, hey, who's on Pinterest? See what's going on. See if you can leverage it. Times are always changing. These platforms are always changing, so you got to stay ahead of the curve. And Pinterest may be a good place for you to do it. If you want some feedback on this, if you want people, neutral third parties, motivated entrepreneurs, salespeople, business owners to give you some feedback in a safe environment, that's what we do at 30daysalesgrowth.com. All right? You join 30 days at a time. Not some lifelong thing that you're locked into. But the longer you stay, the more you engage, the more you participate, the more you're going to grow. All right? But come hang out, 30daysalesgrowth.com. Put your content up there, get some feedback, join the live calls, go through the on-demand content, and I guarantee your sales will grow. All right? 30daysalesgrowth.com. Check it out. Thanks for listening. I'll go sell something.